Good morning, everybody. We're live here from the birdhouse, and it is Tuesday, January 24th. And today I've got a little update here about some of the different birds people are seeing in their yards and how you can attract them. As always, if you have any sightings, you can put those in the comments. If you have any questions, you can throw those in there too. And we will get started here. The first thing going on is we've got a couple of events coming up. One of them, which is just this evening, the Highland Park Conservancy asked us to put on a talk about winter birds in your backyard and in Highland Park. So that's going on tonight if you are interested. It is in person. And it is completely free. And that is over in the Olmsted Lodge out in Highland Park at 7 o'clock. And they just ask that you sign up via their Eventbrite link. And if you are not familiar with the Highland Park Conservancy, we do have a link for this talk on our Facebook page. So you can just click on that and you can sign up, and I will be there giving that talk about the different birds you can find there in the park and how you can attract birds to your backyard in the wintertime. So that is tonight, which is the 24th at 7 p.m. So should take about an hour or so. So if you're looking for something to do tonight, that is going on. And then also this weekend, the 28th and 29th, we have a jigsaw puzzle swap happening all weekend long. Usually we just do it for one day. But Sunday is apparently National Jigsaw Puzzle Day. Who knew? So in order to celebrate that, we're having the jigsaw puzzle swap all weekend long. So that is both Saturday and Sunday. We're open 10 till 6 on Saturday and 10 till 4 on Sunday. So you can bring in any puzzles you have and swap them out with some that are new to you. And we're also going to have a sale going on where all of our in-stock puzzles are 10% off. So we've got all that going on this weekend here at the store. As far as some sightings I have seen, this is in my backyard with this. It looks like I need to upgrade my suet feeder a little bit here. It's all getting all chewed up. But this is a video I've got here of a cardinal that's been in the backyard that has some leucism. And you can see, before I even start the video, you can still see that there's some white patches on its body. And that is called leucism. It's not being albino. It's not completely white. It doesn't have red eyes or anything like that. It still has most of its pigmentation, but it does have some white patches on it. So that's called being leucistic. And this is a female cardinal that's been in my backyard. And here it is enjoying some safflower seed. So I always keep a safflower log out there. And this is why the cardinals absolutely love it. So you can see those white patches on its feathers and all over its face there. So that is my leucistic cardinal, and it is going after these safflower logs. So if you haven't done these seed logs, these are really nice because you don't have to change them out all the time like you do have to with mixed seed. If you're filling your feeders up, you might have to fill your feeders every day. With these logs, I only have to change them or refill them maybe once a week. It varies. I always do the safflower, and then I have either the bugs, nuts, and fruit. So that's this one here, or the Flaming Hot Feast, which the squirrels do not like. So right now I've got the Flaming Hot Feast out there, and that is attracting a whole bunch of birds, including the red-breasted nuthatch. I've been still getting red-breasted nuthatches in my backyard, which I think a lot of you guys are too, and it's been really liking that Flaming Hot Feast log, which is basically this bugs, nuts, and fruit log just with hot sauce in it to keep the squirrels out. So that has really been a hit with these red-breasted nuthatches. Getting a ton of blue jays out, keeping my peanut feeders full has been a chore due to all the blue jays out there as well. And a lot of you guys are reporting northern flickers coming to your backyard, which is kind of common in the wintertime. They're more common at feeders in the winter than they are spring and summer. And so northern flicker, don't be surprised if you see some of them at your suet feeder. They're just about the same size as the red-bellied woodpecker, but they've got these polka dots there all over their body. And then when they are flying, you'll see these glimpses of yellow. They've got this yellow wash underneath their feathers. So that is the northern flicker. And then also eastern bluebird people are reporting, if you're lucky enough to get bluebirds, they're not super common in backyards unless you have, wide open space in general. That's going to be the habitat they like, but they are eating these bugs, nuts, and fruit logs, and they're coming to heated bird baths. So now is the time, if you want to provide water but you don't have a heated bird bath, now is absolutely the time to put one out, because the water is absolutely freezing over with the cold temperatures we have. If you have a bird bath already that can be left out in the wintertime, you can always just add a heater, something like this. And these all operate on a thermostat, so they don't constantly run. They just run enough to keep the water unfrozen. So we do have both the heaters themselves and the completely enclosed heated bird baths where the heating unit is inside the bird bath. So we do have those in stock. So if you have had success with getting bluebirds in the past and you want to keep them coming in the winter, I would suggest definitely putting out a heated bird bath. And then absolutely hawks are out there. People are reporting lots of Cooper's hawks, lots of sharp-shinned hawks out there in the backyards. There's red-tailed hawks are flying around. I saw a pair flying together yesterday, which is, they're starting those kind of mating rituals where they're flying together and starting to pair up. So there's lots of hawks out there now, including Cooper's hawks in your backyard and sharp-shinned hawks as well. Cooper's hawks being the one you're most likely to see in your backyard. And as far as photos that you guys have sent in, Mark sent in several photos here of some birds as he's been out and about, including these of the tufted titmouse. He says tufted titmouse, northern mockingbird, cardinal at Mendon Pond / Erie Canal this past week on gray, dark, gloomy days. So here's a picture of the tufted titmouse, and then here's another one here on the northern mockingbird. So there have been some of those seen around. So if you're seeing kind of a robin-sized bird that's gray, and if you see it in flight, it has bright white patches on its wings, that's going to be the mockingbird. So Mark sent in these photos of a mockingbird as well. And I love this photo of the cardinal here. It looks like the cardinal's starting to sing, and they are starting to sing a little bit. So you might start to hear them give their call or parts of their call. That's going to be something that they're going to start this time of the year, that they're going to start to sing a little bit. So beautiful photo here of a male cardinal. It looks like mid song. And then he also sent in this photo of some ravens. So this is pretty neat. This is a pair of ravens out at Mendon Ponds Park. And then here's another photo of a raven here. And it can be sometimes hard to tell the difference between if you have a raven or if you have a crow, or if you have a fish crow. There's American crows, there's fish crows. So we've got 3 different birds around here that look fairly similar. The ravens have they're first of all, a larger bird. They have a much more robust beak, but their call is quite a bit different too. They have this really more guttural call than, say, the American crow does. So I can play you this call here of the raven. So this is what they sound like. So that is from the Merlin app. I just pulled that up. So if you're hearing something and you're not quite sure what it is, you can always identify it with the Merlin app as well. It will listen to what birds you're hearing, and it can identify them that way if you're not totally sure. So just to compare, here is the American crow. So you can see, especially its bill is a lot smaller. Sometimes American crows can be quite large, so the size can be kind of hard to tell unless you have a raven and a crow right next to each other. It can kind of be hard for most people to tell the difference. So here's the raven, a picture of the raven. Here's the American crow, and this is what the American crow sounds like. It's a much more high-pitched call than the raven there, so not nearly as deep. And then, just to complicate things a little bit further, we also have what's called a fish crow that is in the area. And like their name would suggest, they're found by water most of the time, although there are flocks of them around not by the water. And they're going to be smaller in general than the American crow, and their voice is even more of a nasally type of sound. So I'm going to play you their call too. So this is what they sound like. It's quite a bit different than the American crow and the raven. So we've got 3 different birds that are all kind of very similar looking, but their sounds are different. They're different sizes, but it can be hard to tell if they're off in a distance, or unless you see them kind of close to each other, it can be sometimes hard to tell them apart, but their calls are what will really do that. So if you're not totally sure what you're seeing or what you are especially hearing, if you use that Merlin app, you can pull up their sound ID and it'll tell you exactly what it is you are hearing. So we've got the 3 species. We've got the raven, the American crow, and the fish crow that are all here all year round. And if you are out by the water, you might not only see fish crows, but bald eagles. And this was sent in by Mark, who says our local adult bald eagle at the Erie Canal wide water. So he sent in this photo here of an adult bald eagle there. In its adult plumage at the Erie Canal. So you never know what kind of things you might see when you are out there out birding. It looks like we do have a question on here as well, saying, will the starlings eat that flaming seed? That is a very good question. Yes. So if you have, for example, this version, this bugs, nuts, and fruit seed comes in a flaming version that is covered in hot sauce. Yes, unfortunately, the starlings will eat that. However, the starlings really don't eat this safflower seed. So I have starlings covering my flaming hot seed, but I don't have them eating this safflower seed. So starlings don't like this. The grackles don't like it when they're coming through in the spring, and when they're here in the summer, they don't like the safflower, but the cardinals love it. House finches love it. So you can get a good diversity of birds still with this, but you don't get the starlings. So that's a really good question. So it looks like that's everybody's comments and questions today. If you are free tonight, stop by at the Olmsted Lodge in Highland Park for our talk about attracting birds in the wintertime. And if not, we'll see you on Saturday with another broadcast. We will be back then. And until then, have a great week and take care. Bye-bye.